Achieving a state of being is our next phase in adopting an attitude of gratitude. Now, take a second and think about those words state of being. You see, state of being for me evokes an image of fluidity. Whereas when we react in gratitude, say somebody gives us an item or we get a promotion at work, we're acting based on external influences. What we're trying to get at here is achieving a state of being so that we are living in gratitude at all times, not based on external circumstances. You see, the key to this is practice. Practice is the key to shifting the way we are. When we think about the word practice, various images come to mind. But the key to all practice is a sort of habitual nature, one in which we are consistently, actively working mindfully towards a goal. If we can manage to change how we approach life by implementing a practice, then we have a much better chance of entering into this relationship with gratitude. So let's take a second to look at what is practice. What images come to mind when you think of practice? Could be sports practice when we were in high school or even beyond. Could be yoga practice. Could be your meditation practice. Could be your practice that you do professionally. But if we look at it as a verb, it means to carry out or perform a particular activity, a method, or a custom habitually, regularly. This is the key to unlocking an attitude of gratitude. We have to make sure that we are consistently diving into the steps that I will illustrate later on in this video, but we have to habitually and regularly commit ourselves to practice. Practice isn't easy. It never has been. In fact, it's not meant to be. It's meant to be difficult. But what we gain in approaching this difficult activity, being practice, is an ability to conquer things in a way that we never have before. Practice makes us near bulletproof. Practice takes us to a next level. It up-levels our way of thinking, our way of being in the world. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what level of commitment are you truly ready for? This will directly determine how much of an attitude of gratitude you can step into at first. A lot of things that get in the way of commitment are I don't have time to implement a new practice or I'm just not sure I'm ready. And those things are okay, but you need to be dead serious with yourself at this point in the course and answer, what level of commitment are you ready for? Step number 1 in implementing a practice of gratitude is to choose, to intend. It's at this point where we need to make a stand. We are saying and committing to ourselves that we are no longer going to view the world the way that we have before. We're not going to look at the past and what has happened to us. We're not going to look to the future and hope and dream. We're going to be actively in the present moment. You see, gratitude's not located in the past, although we can be grateful for things that have happened in the past. And it's not located in the future, although we can, again, yes, be grateful when things come our way in the future. But the only way to truly access gratitude is to be in the present moment, to be in this very present moment, this magical time, which is the only true time we really experience. Which brings us to step 2, which is to be present, to be mindful. Now, I know that evokes a lot of imagery of monks sitting on mountaintops meditating, but being mindful isn't necessarily about a practice of meditation. Being present and being mindful is simply about accepting the moment and the gift that is this moment. In this moment, there is a magic that is wholly yours. And if we can stop and take a breath and evaluate where we're at in our lives, then we have a much greater chance of being able to understand how blessed we are, to understand how incredibly miraculous our lives are. If we can do that, if we can stop living in the past or living in the future, then we're going to have a much better chance of understanding those blessings. Which brings me to step number 3, which is to count your blessings. Take a breath. Look around you. I'm sure you can count at least 5 to 10 things, just things, physical things that you're blessed with. And then there's much more. The relationships that we have, the abilities, the gifts that we're all given, the talents that we have. All too often we stop thinking about these things and instead start comparing ourselves to other people or to images, icons, celebrities. The reality is you are you for a reason, and that is enough, and that is beautiful. What you need to get to doing on a more regular basis, on a habitual basis, is treasuring those moments, treasuring the gifts and talents that you have, because it's there and only there that you can find true and lasting fulfillment and happiness in this life. Which brings me to step number 4, which is to monitor your thoughts. Take an inventory. How often do you focus on what you don't have? If it is not here and now, it will not bring you happiness, joy, or fulfillment. But I can guarantee you that in this moment, you can find happiness, joy, and fulfillment if you just take inventory. Look around. Start monitoring your thoughts on a daily basis. Self-talk is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Now, if your self-talk is negative and you're talking about all the terrible things that have happened to you or all of the trauma and the pain, then you will lock yourself in that past. And you'll never have access to a beautiful future, or even more so, this present moment, which is the gift. So ask yourself, what are my thoughts like? How can I change the way that my thinking is happening and occurring in my life? Step number 5 is to embrace humility. You see, the key ingredient to gratitude is that your value does not exceed that of any other life form. And therefore, that which the universe or God or the divine has provided you is a blessing and not a granted or given thing. You need to approach this life with humility because, yes, we are incredibly small, we are incredibly fragile, but this existence is absolutely miraculous. Now, step number 6 is the hardest that anyone goes through. Step number 6 is about rejoicing in difficulty. This is a difficult one because in every single difficulty, there is a lesson, a golden nugget, a way in which you can access something wholly new. You see, when we start to overcome these things, we find the true gold, the golden nuggets within, the things that are going to help us up level to the next level. If we can get to a point where we're grateful for the daily struggle, the things that we struggle with the most, then we are surely living in an attitude of gratitude. And that is what I mean by a state of being. If we can approach even the hardships, the lessons, the trauma, the pain, and we can embrace it, then we're hitting a whole new level of gratitude. And step number 7 is really the icing on the cake, and it's to be generous. Now, I'm not just talking about being generous with your monetary value or the things that you own. Be generous with your thoughts. Be generous with your words. Be generous with your actions. If you can exist in a state of generosity, well then, what you're going to do is open up an entire new world for blessings. You see, nature abhors a vacuum, and the more that you give, the more you create room in your life to receive new blessings, to receive new experiences. It's when we are generous where we've really mastered gratitude. Because to give something away means that we already know that we have enough in life, that we've accepted the present moment, we've embraced humility, we've monitored our thoughts and we've counted our blessings, and now it is time to give back. You see, gratitude is an incredibly powerful catalyst for happiness. It's the spark that lights a fire of joy in your soul. And I absolutely love that quote because there are few things more true in this world than the power of gratitude. Now that we've analyzed a little bit about what an attitude of gratitude looks and feels like, I want to go into 5 simple gratitude practices that you can implement in your daily life. That's coming up next.